this edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Craig Burley and Shaka Hislop. Strap yourselves in, boys, for an FA Cup third round extravaganza. We'll bring you everything you need to know what happened today in England. We'll start at Stamford Bridge, shall we? Chelsea taking on Nottingham Forest. It'll be an emotional day for Cesc Fabregas and an impressive one for Hudson-Odoi. Let's start 12 minutes in, shall we? Luke Steele with a save to deny Alvaro Morata.
From very close in, Morata just has to put this ball anywhere else, and it's 1-0.
3 minutes later, the ball comes forward, Morata goes down.
Referee in a good position, not having any of it.
There's no VAR, by the way, in this Chelsea game. 9 games had VAR today in the FA Cup, not Chelsea.
And it should have been a free kick, even though there was no intent to make a challenge. But nobody told Morata there was no VAR.
A penalty would be awarded in the 29th minute. Loftus-Cheek brought down.
You don't. I was just about to say, this is as clear as they come. Nice first touch, better second, just takes away from the defender who sells himself. Referee, absolutely no choice.
Fabregas' last game for Chelsea, it's thought.
Does it stop?
Oh, dear.
To be fair, there was only like 12 players in the penalty area when he took it.
It was a bit of encroachment. 4 minutes though into the second half, Alvaro Morata with the goal.
And it's a nice one, it just steals the near post. Again, just gets ahead of his defender. Striker's finish.
Nice work in the wing from Hudson-Odoi though. Lovely footwork. And then watch this. Oh my God.
Blooming heck.
Now, he was in an offside position, the flag did not go up, and look, so he is offside. However,
and he just scored.
He just scored, and then, then literally just after it, he was to do this. You can't work it out, can you?
Nope.
It's crazy.
That's again, good play on his right-hand side. And that's a very good header. See, almost an amazement there.
But then an emotional send-off for Cesc Fabregas. 5 minutes before time, he was substituted off. A standing ovation from the Chelsea faithful. It's thought he's heading to Monaco. You take a look at his career. 2 Premier League titles, of course, for Chelsea. A key part, you feel, of the Premier League era in which he was involved in. Did he live up to that potential?
Yeah, but I don't get all this, I have to say. I mean...
Which bit?
Oh no, he's been very good, and you know, obviously he's been coming off the bench more and more, particularly recently when Conte was in charge. Okay, players come and go. You know, he's been at Arsenal, he's been at Barcelona, he's been at Chelsea. It's not like Steven Gerrard being at Liverpool, or like John Terry being at Chelsea all his career, or so it's it was nice to get a nice applause.
Wait, what's the problem? What problem?
No. It's just I haven't got a problem with it. It was nice to get a bit of applause from the fans, but I wouldn't go overboard about the emotion.
Well, he's allowed to cry, isn't he? He's allowed to be emotional.
Well, it's up to him. He can do what he wants, but I'm just saying I personally wouldn't go overboard about it. It's not as if he's been there. Even if he had been 15 years, and played like 700 games as a one-club man.
But what's wrong? He was substituted 5 minutes ago. He got a standing ovation.
He got a standing ovation, and here's the deal. He's one of thousands and thousands of players that come and go and leave clubs and go to another club. That's what it is. You know what it is? It's a job.
It's still a nice moment. He's allowed to be emotional,
I didn't say he's not allowed to be emotional.
It seems to be what you were alluding to.
No, I'm saying, do you want me to sit here and eulogise about it?
No, but what I would like your opinion on is when he was at Arsenal, it was thought he would then make that step to Barcelona and become one of the greats.
Yeah.
I think that was the general consensus, wasn't it? It never quite happened. I know he won pretty much everything there was to win in the game, but he was never really the central part of it.
Yeah, and when he arrived at the Camp Nou, all the talk was about he was going to take over from Xavi and then Iniesta, and it never quite panned out. And in all honesty, I don't understand why. As much as I've made the point in the past that it's always hard to fit into that Barcelona style, this is where he grew up playing football, and you just feel that transition wouldn't have been as difficult for him as it would have been for somebody else. But it just never really happened. And I think that period with Barcelona and then his latter years with Chelsea kind of makes you forget exactly how good he was with Arsenal.
Yeah.
And it almost took took away from his legacy in the Premier League as a result, that he couldn't make that transition, he couldn't make that step up. But aside from which, I have no problem with Cesc Fabregas doing it as he's doing. I do understand what Craig is saying. If you're a one-club man, that's one thing. If you're retiring, that's one thing. He's doing neither here. Neither are the cases.
I mean, 110 caps or 100 odd caps for Spain. It's pretty good. Had a great career, fantastic career. Legs have started to go. Getting a great move to Monaco. Yeah. All right, they're not great at the moment. Bit of tax-free money there, living in the sunshine, and you want us to start crying about it. Move on.
What's it like when your legs go, by the way? Like, it's clear over the last 18 months, he's not the player.
I can tell you, when I was absolutely towing the biggest caravan behind me at the end, and I wasn't even that old, but the injuries had kicked in with me.
Yeah.
Operations and injuries, and I tell you what it's like from my perspective is you can't do what you once did. So if you're at one point I was a box-to-box midfielder, I couldn't do that anymore. I couldn't get up and I couldn't time my runs and I couldn't close the ball down, and all the younger guys are coming in, and guess what? They're all quick.
Right.
And they're all fast and all fit, and you just hate it.
Yeah, I bet.
Because you're half a yard or a yard off the pace. Now, he made up for that with his footballing brain and his skill and his intellect, because he was aware of what was around him. So he would find him, he would make space, he would make that extra yard with the quickness and sharpness of thought. So it hasn't really affected him as much, because he's never been a player that, you know, if you think about, say, Frank Lampard, who was firing up and down all the time, when Frank gets older and when he came over to New York here to play, he couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Cesc Fabregas is slightly different, because he's always been a ball player. It's never been about the pace. It's never been about getting around the pitch as much. But it is difficult. I wouldn't imagine it's not difficult for a goalkeeper when your legs go.
Does it make a difference, Shaq? Are you like slower moving around?
Absolutely.
I think it's just a general body thing, is it not?
It is. I mean, well, one thing I felt like every time I dove, I could feel every bone in my body rattle. And that's how it felt. And then I remember my last season at West Ham, doing shooting practices with Marlon Harewood, Nigel Reo-Coker, it was a young team. And I was getting nowhere close to anything. And that was when I realized this, and I've got to call it today. And my wife and I were talking about coming back this side of the Atlantic. And so even though West Ham did offer me another year on top after the FA Cup final, I was just like, no, I can't be the goalkeeper you hope I will be, and I've got to call it.
You should have done what John Burridge did, the old goalkeeper, when he went home and his missus used to throw
throw
apples and oranges in the house, and he used to.
I had Budgie as a goalkeeper coach in Newcastle.
Right, away from memory lane, Alvaro Morata.
I'm not feeling sorry for him either. Oh. No, but I tell you what, he got a couple.
Here's the thing: you score the goal, and you think, right.
I'll tell you what.
And then
you always hear strikers say they just need one. You just need one to hit them on the backside, and that's all they need.
But I tell you what, what I would say, I don't think this guy's going to convince anybody, no matter what he does now. And I know he got a couple of goals, and there was a couple of bad misses. The header was bad. The other miss was horrendous. What I will say is, and one thing we talk about in this job quite a lot is body language, as if we're, you know, any pundit is a body language expert. However, I've never seen a man who scored 2 goals in an FA Cup third round at home and looks so unhappy. Yeah. He looks at the moment just so unhappy, as if, even though he got his first goal, when he missed that sitter, in his head he's thinking, this whole stadium's laughing at me. Even though he got the header just after that, he's thinking, they're kind of laughing at me. And I just think his confidence, in my opinion, is shot to pieces.
Yeah, you can see that. Meanwhile, at Old Trafford, Manchester United taking on Reading. Solskjaer looks, of course, looking to make it, what, 5 wins in a row since taking over? Sorry?
Yeah, 5. Oh, I thought you doubted yourself there.
No, I was just making it sound dramatic. 16 minutes into this one, Alexis Sanchez in the starting 11, just over.
That's not bad effort from Alexis Sanchez, who we've seen very little of, just setting his sights.
There was VAR in the game at Old Trafford as Mata goes down. Now, the referee originally rules, it's offside here. However, VAR takes a look.
Decides that Lukaku doesn't really get involved in the game, and it's the right call as Mata goes flying.
And the penalty is awarded. Right decision. Mata makes it 1-0. And then in injury time in the first half, Lukaku would make it 2-0.
Nice little change of pace from Lukaku. Good ball by Alexis Sanchez to pick him out, and routine from there.
Reading had their chances, but in the end, United with the victory, and they are through to the 4th round of the Cup.
Yeah, I mean, he made changes, and unsurprisingly, Solskjaer. But you see there, by the stats and of those that watched the game, Reading, and they're struggling in the Championship, by the way. They acquitted themselves very well, but ultimately the difference was a bad challenge and a good finish and a good run from Lukaku. There is, and I keep bringing it up on the show, there is an element of who they've played, but on the other side, they've won 5 straight games.
Yep.
So, if nothing else, the feel-good factor is back for the time being. It's a great start for Solskjaer, no matter who they've played. There are some bigger hurdles still to jump for them, some huge ones. Tottenham coming up, PSG will be around the corner. But there's nothing bad about winning. For coming in on a Monday or a Sunday, the next day, and you've won another game, it can't be bad.
So then, Shaq, Solskjaer say, wins the FA Cup, finishes top 4.
No.
Why? He's 4 to...
No, you go ahead.
No, go on.
He's 4 to 1 according to the bookies to be the next.
I think this would be the biggest mistake ever for
Possibly.
Manchester United.
I agree.
Why?
My thing is, I think results dictate who is whether Solskjaer gets his job or not. Now, if they go for a deep run in the FA Cup, if they get by PSG and maybe win and another tie in the Champions League, if they finish top 4, I don't see how you don't offer him the job. But I'm not sure that Solskjaer is the right man long term. But if he gets good results...
Didn't we say that about Zidane, though? At Real Madrid, and that worked out brilliantly.
Again,
Different
results dictate what is going to happen here. And if these results continue, if these players keep looking this happy, keep playing this well, he gets his job.
Real Madrid, slightly struggling at the time. Squad of quality players. Man United, slightly struggling. Pretty average by their standard players. If emotions take over here, then Man United will make another mistake by giving him the job, because this is a full rebuild. Even if we have 5 victories in a row, doesn't matter. This is a full rebuild. This is trying to hunt down Liverpool and Manchester City, who have spent big with 2 hugely experienced coaches. It's about challenging in Europe again, as well as domestically. That's a long-term project, as Shaka said. Good for short-term at the moment, long-term, not for me.
Plenty more FA Cup highlights to come throughout the show. And just a reminder, if you ever miss a programme, you can download our podcast available on the website. Elsewhere in the FA Cup, let's head to the north of England. Blackpool taking on Arsenal. A lot of fans staying away in protest of the way that Blackpool's being run of late. 11 minutes in, Joe Willock makes it 1-0.
Well-struck free kick, takes a little touch off the wall, off the post. And Blackpool kind of flat-footed defensively, and Willock responds quickest.
Yeah, this wasn't really a classic FA Cup tie. Willock would make it 2-0 in the 37th minute.
Good work from Iwobi, and then Jenkinson with the cross. Jenkinson who come in at late notice because of an injury in the warm-up, and then young Willock at the back post to get his second of the game.
All over Arsenal, Blackpool, Craig. 8 minutes to go. Iwobi with a rebound to make it 3-0.
The keeper does well, thinks he's done well enough. No defenders there to help him out. Iwobi taps it in.
So Arsenal through to the 4th round. Meanwhile, West Ham taking on Birmingham. 2 minutes into this one, the Hammers take the lead. Arnautovic, of course, back from injury, would make it 1-0. However, he would go off later in the game with an injury.
And that is a huge concern for West Ham, but for the time being, you take the start, just muscles the defender out of the way, easy finish.
And then in the 91st minute, Andy Carroll with a goal to secure the victory.
Well, it's Andy Carroll-esque, isn't it?
Indeed, yes.
Exactly what you would expect. Back post, decent ball in, rises above the defender, and a good header. Easy when you fit.
Meanwhile, Aston Villa taking on Swansea City. Again, just 2 minutes in, we'd see the opening goal. Courtney Baker-Richardson with the first shot. Stays with it. Gets a rebound to make it 1-0.
Yeah, it's that ball just in behind the defender. Goalkeeper comes, doesn't do well enough. Good finish.
Into the second half we go. Nathan Dyer double Swansea advantage.
Well, how he snuck round the back of that defence, I'm not quite sure, but he did. And then it was a lovely little ball slid into him, and a good finish.
Swansea would win this game by 3-0. Jay Fulton with a third.
After Leroy Fer does really well just to stay with it. And then instead of turning towards goal, turns back, picks out Fulton.
Yeah, put an argument forward. This was one of the most exciting games today. Derby County, of course, led now by Frank Lampard, taking on Southampton. 4 minutes into this one. Richard Keogh with the own goal to make it 1-0 Saints.
Yeah, that was pretty ugly. I'm not even sure that that was going in, but the defender can't take that chance. Sticks a leg out.
Contender for goal of the day here, surely, from Nathan Redmond, 2-0.
Just back in the side for the draw they got at Chelsea after being left out, and great confidence boost for him and his manager going forward.
But then 2 goals in 3 minutes would change the outlook of this game. First, Jack Marriott makes it 2-1.
Yeah, Tom Lawrence gets the ball in the channel and does really well just to control, get his head up. Clever little flick into the path of Marriott, who hits that first time in a little bit of traffic.
And then moments later, it's Lawrence himself who gets the goal.
Well, I think for both teams, Derby going for the promotion and Southampton fighting relegation, they could ill afford a replay, but that's what they're getting.
Well, they almost got the win, Derby, but for the late effort from Marriott, puts it over the bar. Finishes then Derby 2, Southampton 2. Meanwhile, at St James's, Newcastle taking on Blackburn. Not much would happen in this game in the first half. 10 minutes though into the second. Blackburn would make it 1-0. Bradley Dack with the header.
Yeah, just really poor defending from Newcastle. Set piece, then everybody just loses sight of their man. No problem.
Chaos. Here, ball is pinging around everywhere in the 66th minute. Arguments that there was a handball amongst all of this. VAR said no.
It looked as if it came off the player's leg first up onto the arm, and then a clearance off the line.
There would be a penalty though, 7 minutes before time. Evans with the foul, bringing down Perez. VAR would confirm it was a spot kick.
Yeah, and take your pick. I think Evans catches Perez not once but twice. Referee had no choice.
Matt Ritchie then steps up to make it 1-1. There'll be a replay at Ewood Park. Just a reminder, we are here every single day to answer your questions. And Mike Einstein made a surprise appearance on the latest Extra Time. Let's head to Goodison. Everton taking on Lincoln City. 12 minutes into this one, it'll be Everton who would take the lead. Leighton Baines plays it into Lookman with a header to make it 1-0.
It's a really good ball by Baines to pick out Lookman far post. It's a bit of a crowd, but somehow he's the only one who gets anywhere near it.
You see, he got the handball, the Lincoln player, but the ball across the line.
Yeah.
Goal stands 1-0. 2 minutes later, Bernard with a nice little chip, 2-0.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Bernard has been in and out the side in recent weeks. Good little player, but Marco Silva struggling to find the right balance in this Everton side.
Lincoln will put up a good fight in this game. They make it 2-1 in the 28th minute. Michael Bostwick with to get the goal.
That ball just drifted in right into the 6-yard box. Hart thought he did enough.